out now, he seems to have been a crucial figure at the crime scene after Senzo Meyiwa had been killed, because what we're hearing from the first forensic detective who was on the scene in the form of Thabo Mosia is that he handed over the scene several times to Brigadier Philani Ndlovu, who is no longer with us. And he says he didn't take the forensics or the gun shot residue from the hands of anyone in the house because he was taking instructions from his senior. It was Brigadier Philani Ndlovu who told, from the very word go, who told Thabo Mosia that there had been a shooting. He did not give an address of where the crime scene had taken place. But when Thabo Mosia had arrived at the scene, Brigadier Philani Ndlovu was there, much to the dismay of Advocate Zandile Mshololo when she asked, how is it that you could trust what was being said to you by your so-called senior who didn't give you an address for the crime scene initially, but you found him there? You didn't do any of your investigations on your own to ascertain whether the Brigadier Philani Ndlovu was saying the correct things. He told Mosia where to take photos on the scene. And another aspect, which is quite crucial, that came out today, is that when Advocate Zandile Mshololo asked him, did he question anyone in the house about which part of the house that Senzo Meyiwa had been killed? He did not. He relied on information that was given to him by Brigadier Philani Ndlovu. This now seeming to be a crucial figure, Unati, in this particular case. Remember, after Brigadier Philani Ndlovu had passed away, the National Prosecuting Authority was quite fast to point out that he was not going to be a witness. He was not a key figure in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, and that there weren't even statements that were taken from him. But now, almost the entire cross-examination of Thabo Mosia, he points directly to his senior, being told what to do, where to take pictures. He was told at which part of the house that Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed. But on the other hand, Mosia didn't bother on his own accord to ask even the people in the house where Senzo Meyiwa was killed.
It's also becoming very clear that was he really the first person there? I mean, another bombshell testimony that we heard in court during this week was, of course, that, the police were called some 4 hours later. That's what we heard, earlier this week. We also heard, of course, Advocate Teffo saying that, in fact, he will be calling a witness that will say who actually pulled the trigger. Talk to us about those scenes that played out a little bit outside of court.
So many sideshows, Unati. And yes, indeed, earlier this week we heard from Advocate Malesela Teffo that he will be calling a witness that will testify that, in fact, it was the deceased then-girlfriend, Kelly Khumalo, who had pulled the trigger mistakenly, he said. And further went on to say there's a witness that will also testify that senior police officers were involved in a so-called plot to cover up, to conceal what had happened on that evening. Emanating from that, we spoke to Magdalene Munsami, who is the attorney for Kelly Khumalo. She was quite perturbed by that. In fact, she told us she spoke to her client, and Kelly Khumalo was quite perturbed by the allegations that had been made. And she felt that Kelly Khumalo was being prejudiced in this matter, in that allegations are being made without being tested within this court. Then after that, we had the instructing attorney for accused 1 to 4, who works alongside Advocate Malesela Teffo, said that he was going to lodge a complaint with the Legal Professionals Council, as well as open up a case of defeating the ends of justice against Magdalene Munsami for allegedly, intimidating witnesses by the remarks that she made to the SABC and other media houses that she had spoken to. So we understand those charges have not yet been laid. I do know that the instructing attorney, Timothy Tobane, will be having a conversation with Magdalene Munsami to try and see if they're not able to sort things out outside of the charges and the complaints that he wanted to lay. But aside from that, I think what we're looking to now is over this weekend, just before we left the court, I'd asked Advocate Malesela Teffo when he plans to draft the papers for this application for a trial within a trial. He said he will be lodging those papers this weekend, and we're likely to hear on Monday exactly what the way forward will be, and also whether Mosia will take the stand, because court adjourned very early today because they indicated he was ill, he had taken medication, he was not reacting well to it. So it remains to be seen if on Monday he will take the stand. If he does not, the court has indicated that a second witness might be called.
Fantastic. Chriselda, thank you so much for that very comprehensive update.